Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. In this video, we will see what are the main differences between Agile and DevOps, and what are all the similarities between Agile and DevOps, and how do Agile and DevOps can work together. So before we move on to the video, I request you all to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed yet. Like, comment your questions and feedbacks in the comment section, and share the video with your friends. So with no further ado, let's go to the video. So first let's see what is Agile. So the best way to give an overview of Agile is to describe its four core values. And these core values are embodied by what is known as the Agile Manifesto. The Agile approach embraces an iterative process of development and testing that delivers small increments of a broader project. And this leads to an increased efficiency and allows team to find errors in the development stage more quickly since they can adapt to changes on the go. The agile software development process involves dividing work up into manageable subunits and then working on them in a focused manner for a period of 2 weeks or 10 days, 10 working days. So during this time, development teams concentrate on testing and refining a specific feature until it meets all expectations. The periods of time during which individual features are worked on are known as sprints. When one sprint is done, the team immediately moves on to the next one. While features are being developed, the team meets regularly to give feedback and review work. So far we saw about what is Agile. Now we will see what are the core principles of Agile. So the core principles of Agile methodology prioritize individuals and interactions over processes and tools, and working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiations, and responding to change over following a plan. So the first principle we will see is the individuals and interactions over processes and tools, where this core value emphasizes the importance of teammates communicating with each other. This makes for a more positive work environment where all stakeholders are engaged and feel valued. To increase efficiency, the agile approach prioritizes and encourages constant communication among teammates, and this principle or this value ensures that everyone is able to contribute valuable feedback to the projects. Coming to the next principle, which is working software over comprehensive documentation. So, with waterfall model, the legacy, the model, waterfall method, the documentation was a major part of the development process. However, this can get in the way of actually making necessary changes. Agile software development focuses on just that, developing functional software and deploying it as quickly as possible. And documentation can come later once the product has gone through the necessary revisions. When it comes to the next one, the customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So, when negotiating a contract with the customer before beginning a project or before development can create difficulties if the scope of a project changes. Instead, agile projects assume that the needs of the project will change and therefore prioritize ongoing collaboration and flexibility. So, in order to make the necessary changes for a project, keeping a line of communication with the customers is necessary. This ensures that the customer is able to give detailed feedback, which in turn helps software teams avoid a long list of changes at the end of a long period of work. When it comes to the next value, which is responding to change over following a plan. Similarly, changes may be required in the middle of a project to reach the ultimate goals for the software, and this requires the teams to be willing to make such a change. Rather than staying attached to a static software development plan, agile projects involve dynamic roadmaps that are evaluated quarterly or monthly to ensure they outline the right path for the long term product vision. So far we saw about what is Agile and what are the core principles of Agile. Now we will see what is DevOps and what are the core principles of DevOps. So when talking about DevOps, DevOps is the part of the development process that comes after the software has become operational. With DevOps, the goal is to keep the development team and operations team collaborating in unison to ensure that the software works smoothly and evolves alongside the customer's needs. DevOps is not a replacement for agile development. Instead, it is meant to supplement an agile process's productivity and efficiency in the long term. So, what are the core principles of DevOps? So, the first core principle is the automation. The key priority of DevOps best practices is automating as much of the configuration, the deployment, the maintenance, and testing processes as possible. And this allows staff to focus on bigger priorities rather than repetitive manual tasks. In the end, this saves time, adds efficiency to the team's operation, and improves product quality. And next comes the collaboration, where the DevOps create a collaborative environment that facilitates easy feedback sharing. When communication is open and feedback is shared frequently, DevOps teams can release updates quickly and minimize downtime. And then comes the continuous integration and delivery. So DevOps teams rolls out software updates in phases on an ongoing basis to avoid significant disruption, a process known as continuous integration and delivery, the CI/CD. DevOps team members integrate their code in a shared repository several times daily. The smaller sections of code makes it easier to detect software conflicts and bugs more quickly. When it comes to customer centric activity, this is similar to the agile methodology where the DevOps emphasizes customer satisfaction above any process restrictions. And the cycle of frequently deploying updates, testing new features, implementing feedback, and tracking errors minimizes the gap between the product's capabilities and customer needs. So far we saw about what is Agile, what is DevOps, and what are the core principles of Agile and DevOps. And now we will see what are the similarities between Agile and DevOps. So the first one, which is the business focus. In both the methodologies, they are focused on increasing the value for customers, which ultimately drives revenue for the business. And when it comes to the collaboration, the emphasis on collaboration fosters better communication and clearer expectations, which ultimately promote DevOps and Agile's common goal of producing better software more efficiently. And when it comes to continuous release cycles, both Agile and DevOps are continuously developing small portions of a software product and constantly releasing finished products of a broader project. And finally, when it comes to the flexibility, both Agile and DevOps are methodologies that can be adapted to meet the project's specific needs rather than strict guidelines that must be followed precisely. So now we will see the differences between Agile and DevOps. So the very first difference is creating versus deploying. With Agile, the goal is software creation, but when it comes to DevOps, it is more focused on software deployment. The second difference is the degree of specialization. With Agile, the team members are more generalized and can fulfill every role that is needed. On the other hand, separate teams handle development and operations in a DevOps settings. However, both teams do communicate regularly. The third difference is communication, where the Agile teams usually have daily meetings, but DevOps teams don't need to meet daily. And when it comes to documentation, Agile doesn't place a heavy focus on documentation, but DevOps takes documentation very seriously. And then, when it comes to automating processes, Agile doesn't prioritize automation, but it's a critical priority that enables more productivity in a DevOps framework. And then the scheduling, where the Agile teams measure their output in short periods of time, usually between 2 weeks, known as sprints. In contrast, DevOps focuses on longer blocks of work. And finally, when it comes to team size, agile team sizes are typically very small, whereas DevOps teams typically combine multiple larger teams. So finally, we will see how Agile and DevOps work together, or how can Agile and DevOps work together. While Agile and DevOps are different methodologies, they can be used together. Agile is more suitable for working on software creation, while DevOps is more suitable for ongoing software deployment and operations. And by combining the two methodologies, companies can release software quickly and maintain a consistent, high value product in the long term. So, with that, I come to an end. I believe this video would have been very useful to you. Until I meet you in another interesting video, it's Boya from Washington Mugam and Little's Law.